This is Richard Tennessee Homestead. How the heck are you? Came back in to get myself a second cup of coffee and opted for some sweet tea instead. What do you think? Okay, this is going to be an update to the GMO series. I'm probably going to do this, add it to the playlist. Let me straighten my camera up here just a bit. I'll lay it to put it in the playlist as updates. I'll put a date on it so you can flipping through the playlist. You'll see which ones you've already seen and haven't seen. But it said as new information came out and presented itself, I presented to you. And I was looking through a ag business magazine, a couple of interesting articles in there that you might want to know about. Okay, one of them was done by a gentleman who runs a data management organization and a consulting firm. He consults big ag and big ag businesses and so forth. Kind of keeps his pulse on what's going on out there. And he wrote an interesting article, a little paragraph I was going to read out of the article that pretty much summed up where he's coming from. And you are going to get to see Rich in his granny glasses, because reading print, he got reading glasses. So that ought to be a real highlight of your day. But I also did a little search out there, and I recommend y'all do the same if you're wanting to hear some really nightmarish stories of biotech scientists who have now come out against the GMO products. Yeah. Okay. Now listen, folks, all kidding aside, biotech jobs are good paying jobs. It's a very large and booming industry. And so you'll find most of these people who have stepped out against it are the senior biotech engineers and chemists and scientists and researchers that have now retired. Really don't have much to lose by telling you the truth. To where if you're still working in the field and you come out against the company that you're working for, they're going to find a reason to get rid of you. Okay? That simple. So, that being said, the truth's out there. Research it. I did a simple search of biotech scientists opposed to GMOs, and it brought up a whole bunch. Okay? But one fellow that I watched, he really hit the nail on the head. And I'll basically tell you where he's at with the whole thing. Just give me 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. I forgot my notes back in the office. Yeah, I've been running pretty ragged this morning. Anyway, okay, let's get started on this. These biochemists, a lot of them are saying, is that a lot of good can be done with biotech. But all of them are saying pretty much the same thing. The technology isn't there yet. Okay? Because in a DNA, the genome and so forth, way over this boy's head, basically genes fire off and cause other genes to fire off and cause other genes to stop firing and, so forth. So the structure of that gene is, those genes in that DNA is pretty important. And where these genes are located at and things of this nature, kind of like a car engine. You have a certain firing order of the spark plugs, okay? And when they're all firing the way they're supposed to, the car runs just great. You go out there and pull off a spark plug wire, car's not going to run so good, okay? Pull off a couple of them, it may not run at all, or they do all sorts of strange things. Get to playing with the wiring too much, and you could do engine damage. Now, that's it for an automobile. Well, these genes are similar to that. And what all of them are saying is the technology is not there for them to place that gene exactly where they want it. Instead, they just pretty much have to inject the gene, and it's going to land where it lands. That's one of the reasons it takes so long to develop these things, because if it lands in the wrong spot, heaven only knows what that can cause that plant or animal to do. Okay, it could disrupt growth hormones. It could disrupt, uh, all the sort of things. Okay, that can cause problems. I mean, these genes, as they fire off when you're developing as a baby, and your mama, decides whether you're going to have, blonde hair and blue eyes and be 5 foot 10, or whether you're going to have brown hair and brown eyes and be 6'4". Okay, it's all in the way these genes fire off. Start messing with that firing order, and a bit of a stretch, but you could end up with blonde eyes and blue hair and 40 foot tall. But the possibility's there. Okay, and that's what they're wanting, is that the technology is not really there yet. Okay, they haven't gotten there yet, folks. They're working on it, but they're not there yet. By one of Monsanto's own spokesmen, of course, he was talking about other things of why it costs so much money for their products. But he's basically saying to develop these GMO products and their biomicroorganisms and so forth, it takes up to 13 years or so to develop these. It takes them a while. Now let's look at that for 30 seconds. Okay. How far back does that mean that these fellows understood that they were killing the cropland if it's going to take them 13 years to come up with a fix? Are they lying to you? Okay. Yeah. I had one of the subscribers wrote in a comment that, and it's pretty common. It really is. It's nothing that unusual, where farmer gets out of business. Either A, he's not making any money, or B, his soil has been depleted and is dead, and he can't grow crops out there anymore. So he subdivides it off and sells it off. And the lady was explaining how a friend of hers had bought one of these parcels of land and found out after they'd bought it and lived on it for numerous years, they can't even grow grass. Okay. Yeah. And that's common. That's why back in my series, So You Want to Be a Homesteader, I said one of the things that I recommend for folks getting ready to buy some land is get a shovel, get out there and do a little digging. Look for earthworms. If you don't find any earthworms, there's good likelihood the soil's dead. Earthworms are a good barometer of good, healthy microbial life in the soil, the proper nutrition's in the soil, and it spurs earthworms. Okay, so good piece of advice. Okay, now can these places be amended and so forth and get that soil back to life? Yeah, but it's going to take quite a bit of time. Okay, so if you're looking for a homestead that you plan to raise food on and graze animals and things of this nature, folks, you better be careful, because what you're going to see, and more of this is going to be going on, where you're going to see a lot of row crop land being subdivided and sold. Now, you may get out there and see a lot of weeds growing where it sat for a couple of years with no activity on it. It doesn't mean it's got live soil. It just means it's got a good crop of weeds. Probably half of them super weeds, so be advised. Okay, use your head. Anyway, so that's basically it, is that they're injecting these genes into these DNAs, and they're not sure where these genes are going to end up. They don't have the technology to go, okay, this is where the seed sprouts, this is where this develops, where that develops, so forth. They don't have the technology to go, let's put that right there. They can't do that. They just kind of inject it, see where it lands, and that's why so much of their experimentation fails. because depending on where that new gene that they just injected lands, it can either do well or absolutely screw up. If it screws up, they kind of go back to the beginning again. That's why golden rice has never hit the market. Okay, they've been having problems developing it. Keep that in mind. The technology is not there. They may tell you it is. Okay, they're protecting their jobs. Is what they're doing. Okay, biotech is a big industry. Matter of fact, if biotech ever went down in this country, you're going to see unemployment rates shoot right through the roof because it is a big industry. And it's going to create a major hiccup in the economy, folks. It really will. So keep that in mind. You have these guys that are retiring out of the industry, respected scientists in the field, saying technology's not there. Not yet. They're working on it, but they're just not quite there yet. Okay? Something to keep in mind. Now, there's one gentleman's article that I ran across I was quite impressed with. And that is that he was basically is warning the industry of impending disasters if they don't watch what they're doing. I'm going to go ahead and read this to you and put on my granny glasses, and don't y'all laugh at me now. Come on, I bought these for $2 at Walmart about 5 years ago. So, but this article or this paragraph is appropriately titled. It's called Messing with Mother Nature. Listen to what this man that consults these big companies has to say. It says, in hindsight, even biotech advocates would probably admit that putting a Roundup Ready gene in every planted crop isn't logical. Duh. Doing so violated the golden rule of agriculture. Don't mess with Mother Nature. Resistant weeds are a major challenge, and the bill to keep fields clean is doubling and tripling because the biotech solution isn't working. Folks, Monsanto will tell you, oh, it's only 1% of the fields. It's not really a problem. Yeah. Other experts are saying it is a major problem. And farmers are saying it's a major problem. And your product doesn't work. Okay? So I would hate to think that Monsanto's telling the stories. But it looks that way. Okay, the kicker. Growers are still paying a fee for this technology that now appears to be subpar what it replaced. Biotech also has left a bad taste in the mouth of many consumers, especially millennials. Social media has spread the word, right or wrong, that GMOs are bad. All this has implications for the seed and precision segments. The seed industry has to give growers and consumers what they want, a choice. Whether or not it's GMO, give us good genetics and diversity because that keeps both Mother Nature and consumers happy. Plus, focus on the benefits of biotech to what matters to 98% of the people who are truly concerned about their health and the environment. Not just more herbicide-resistant genes. Precision has a big role to play. Providing that there is a difference between products on a grocery shelves will rest upon field data, such data collection is going to have to be simple, effective, and shareable. Bottom line, if the industry moves for such changes, the future looks bright. If not, we have a tough road to hoe. This is a very, he's an expert, folks. He's a consultant to these big companies, and he's warning. Don't take away the choice. Okay? Take away the choice and people rebel. They don't want a rebellion because when you get a rebellion, they're going to lose a lot of market share than to organic and things of this nature. They know it. Okay. The biotech and the seed industry, these big chemical and pharmaceutical companies, they have no intention of giving you a choice. That's their goal. Take away that choice. Because they know that most consumers, if given the option of GMO or non-GMO, grown in Roundup, not grown in Roundup, are going to pick the non-GMO product. What's that going to do to their industry? It's going to bring it to its knees. Okay? Billions of dollars in sales lost. They don't want you to have a choice. And by their actions, they're trying to ensure that that doesn't happen. I saw a sign a while back. It's a little wall plaque for a kitchen. You know, like Mom's Kitchen. 2 choices for dinner. Take it or leave it. That's pretty much it. That's the choice they want to give you. You have 2 choices. All right. Take it or leave it. You want to eat? There you go. Because, see, they can't give you that choice and survive it. They know that. So they're trying to do things like, well, you know, if I was in their place, one of the things I would try to do is corrupt the seed base. Oh, wait, they're doing that. Make their plants extremely invasive to invade other crops that are not GMO. Oh, wait, they're doing that too. I think I would try to buy up all the seed companies out there and take control of them so that I could control what product was available to the worldwide market. No, wait, they're doing that too. See what I'm saying? They have made a logical decision. They are not going to give you your choice, even though experts tell them that's the way to survive. That's the way your future looks bright. Think about that for just a minute. If you look at what they do, Monsanto, Bayer, Dow, DuPont, Syngenta, they have all made a decision that they don't want you to have a choice. And they're coming for that choice, folks. And you better wake up. This expert says that the 2 can coexist, and things will be good. They're not listening to them. 13 years it takes them to develop one of these bioproducts, they tell you. So 13 years ago, they knew that they were killing the soil, that they were destroying microbial life in the soil by their own admissions. Why would they be working on a biotech option if they did not know that this was going to happen out in those fields? They knew, folks. Was it intentional? It would sure fit their master plan, though, wouldn't it? I mean, for heaven's sakes, now you can't rely on nature for even good microbiology in your soil to provide nutrients and protect your plants from disease. You have to now go to these companies and pay for that very technology. Everything costs. See, it used to be that if you were selling corn for $3 a bushel, okay, your seed corn would be less than the $3 a bushel. That is not the case anymore. Okay. The price of these inputs that are required so that you can put a plant in the ground and it do anything but wither up and die is tripling for the farmer, outstripping what they're selling that product for. You tell me, how long do you think this agricultural big ag system is going to hold together? Probably not much longer. Okay. So those are the experts. 1, the technology, it isn't there. They haven't got to the point yet. They don't know what they're creating out there in those fields. They don't know. They know this particular sample of the DNA that they created in the laboratory, uh, the first plant did do okay, and it's fine. Although all these GMO plants, and it has a lot to do with the soil they're being grown in and the plant itself, are nutritionally deficient from a organic plant, or even one that was grown the old-fashioned way. Okay, nutritionally deficient. Now, couple that with the fact that these chemicals that they're putting into your body are killing off your good microbes. And, those are the things that take that food and convert it into nutrition for your body. So now you're already dealing with a crippled food, you might say, putting it into a crippled gut. And we wonder why we're suffering from all these nutritional deficiencies in our diet. Common sense, folks. You've been poisoned. We go. But I thought this would be a little interesting. Like I said, this fella is a consultant to these big companies. He's warning them. They understand that people are going to rebel. And when they rebel, this whole house of cards is going to come apart on them. Okay? But I want to ask you a serious question. Do you really want to spend another dollar with these people who are taking that dollar and turning around and buying off your politicians that say we get to poison you? Think about that. They're using your money against you. Keep giving it to them. 2017 is coming, folks. Their new technologies hitting the fields. And if you think the stuff that they were feeding you before was poison, folks, you ain't seen nothing yet. All it's going to take is one tainted shipment or one farmer to leave his sprayer sit outside for too long. And they will do damage to the cropland in this country that may never be repairable, and put dioxin in your food. The chemicals in those herbicides are dangerous enough by themselves. When you couple dioxin with it, you've got a fatal cocktail. And you're going to be eating it starting next year. Here's my advice. Right now, farmers are preparing and planning for their next year's crops. You need to sit down and do your homework and see what kind of food do you eat, how much of it do you eat, how much would it take to feed your family for a year. It's going to shock you. Okay? And you need to go find your farmer. Take your list. Because let me tell you something, folks. If you find you a farmer and say this is going to be my what I need, and get involved in a CSA or whatever with them, and get him to know that he's got to increase production, he's going to have so many extra chickens to keep you in eggs. He's going to have extra meat chickens so that you have chicken to eat. He's going to have to maybe buy another pig so that you can have pork, or get another calf so that you can have beef. He needs to make plans. Okay? Give him a chance. Because if you don't, what's going to happen is you're going to show up at their door and they're going to tell you, I'm sorry, I don't have anything for you. Okay? You need to get busy right now. This is the time of year when farmers are planning what they're going to be doing next year. Now, they always plan a little bit extra, just in hopes that things will get better for them. But they're not going to get nuts with it. They're not going to put themselves in bankruptcy over it. So if the Smith family needs a bunch of food for next year, you better be able to count on the Smith family buying a bunch of extra food for next year. And he'll plan it. And he'll raise it. And he'll see that you have eggs and pork and bacon and all these things that you want. but he has to know, and he needs to know pretty quickly. Okay, this is the time of year they're doing it, folks. Get busy. This is Rich with Disney Homestead. I'm gonna finish my little glass of sweet tea and get back to it. You folks have yourselves a wonderful day. Talk to you later.